Hey, it's Bill Gross, and welcome to our EXP National Mastermind Probate Group, and where we get together every week. I do every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and talk about topics in probate. So we do two things here. One is I answer questions. I try to I want to be of service to EXP. I like it when you can come here and ask the question, or if you send it to me ahead of time, I'll answer it here so it gets recorded so that I can leverage my time and help as many agents as possible. And then I'll take one topic a week and go through that and record some content. Sal Sophia, welcome to the call. Nice to see you. I know you and I've known each other through the workplace for a while, and I saw you on our Friday call with a broker, so glad to have you here on our live Zoom. Okay. And
Terrific. Glad to be here, Bill. And yes, finally nice to speak with you. And I think you and I had spoke a few years ago, perhaps. But anyway, I'm happy to be here and learn from you, my friend.
Fantastic. Do you bring any particular questions, or just in general want to see what we have to talk about today?
No, I don't have questions. I actually
Okay.
have some free time right now, getting ready for another appointment meeting, but
Okay.
I have time and just, well, I know I'll learn from you. So that's the reason I'm here.
Well, that's very sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much. So today,
Sure.
our
My
our
pleasure.
goal, our topic we're going to talk about. I present, I should say, my premise in real estate, or my thesis, is that most companies that sell data only really sell one of two ways, and they do that, I think, because they are, they're selling data. They're not necessarily selling real estate, or don't know how to sell real estate. I'm a full-time practitioner. I sell houses. I've closed over 30 transactions in the last 12 months. I'm on track to be an icon with EXP. And so what I've come up with is there's actually 11 ways to sell probate real estate. The two most common companies promote are selling you data and call the petitioners, or selling the data and market to the attorneys. And they both are great. But I believe in multi-channel marketing. The more ways you can approach somebody, the more likely you are to be successful. And so I've actually created 11 ways, or a list of 11 ways I train on, and I actually have used all these 11 ways at various times in my business. I find I'm most successful when I find multiple ways to attach to the same lead or the same transaction. So I'm going to skip through some of the preliminary stuff today, because you guys are all EXP already with me, and some of you know who I am, or most of you know who I am. But what I want to do today is talk about the 11th way. So through this list, I go through each week one. And the 11th way is networking. And what it might sound obvious to you, what I'd like to do is explain networking through the context of probate lead generation. Now, let me just back up for a second and say, I believe as real estate agents, we need to have a clear, focused area of expertise that we want to call our specialty or our niche. I made that probate with the help of my coach, Don Hobbs, who is a master at branding. Almost 3 years ago, I've been saying 2.5 for a while, but it's almost 3 years ago. I sat down with him and kind of came to the conclusion that probate worked for me as that niche, because it worked for me. And I designed a way that worked for me to attach that niche. I think it should attack the niche. I think it's important that this be something that's authentic to you as a person, and it be a methodology that works for you. So for me, my father was an attorney. I used to clerk for attorneys. Most of my clients, as a result, were attorneys in my real estate practice. I know their business really well. And the way I decided to go after it, my primary lead generation was going to court. I enjoyed putting on suits and ties. I enjoyed going to court every day, being there at 7:45 with a cup of coffee for 3 hours. I enjoyed that. Not everybody does. And so you have to find a way to design the business that works for you. Within probate, you don't have to go to the court. You don't have to do it the way I did. There's a number of different ways. And today we're going to talk about networking as a probate expert. So number one, where do you network as a probate expert? Once you've created the plan, once you've created the branding, once you've made your name, or you have a website, or you have a catchphrase, or whatever you have, you want to go out and do some lead generation. So number one place to go, I found, was local real estate investment clubs, or local meetups, or local Eventbrites, where people get together and talk about real estate. I used to go to court every Monday through Friday, and it would finish there at 10:30. And then I'm in West LA. I would drive downtown. I would make like a triangle and go to the Valley for this particular meeting that was every Wednesday at 11:30. And it was so good. It was at the Sizzler. I happened to keep kosher, so I couldn't even eat there, but I had to buy lunch. That's how valuable it was. I was paying $15 to not have lunch, but to sit with 50 people a week, of which maybe 5 or 10 were brand new every week, and to network with some really good investors, some new investors, wholesalers, bird doggers. It was fantastic. And the key there was every week there were probably 5 or 6 other realtors there. And everyone would introduce themselves. Well, I'm a realtor. I specialize in buyers, sellers, short sales, foreclosures, this, that, commercial, industrial. And people would just glaze over and not remember anything. But whenever I was there, I was the LAProbate expert. I go to court every single day. I'm looking for deals for investors like you. Or if you have probate leads that have some problems, come to me. I'll see if I can help you. And I want to tell you, the first year I went to that networking group, I grossed about $50,000 of GCI, and I've made that or more from that group ever since. And in fact, I haven't been there for a year and a half because of COVID. So it was that one group, one Wednesday, 11:30, and I will say I had to drive there, half hour. I had to drive home, maybe another half hour. I was there for an hour and a half. So it was about 2.5 hour investment time on a weekly basis. But phenomenal value I found for my time spent. So local real estate investment groups, I also go, personally, I don't like to work in the evenings. I work hard 8 to 5, really 7:30 to 6 typically. I don't like to go out at night. I'm tired physically. I want to get a good night's sleep. I want to be home with my family. But I found that certain events were so packed with people that if I could meet 40, 50 or more brand new people in a night, it was really worthwhile. And again, being a probate expert, I found people wanted to talk to me. And let me just back up and say, my experience when I introduced people as I'm a probate expert was like I was the prettiest girl at the ball. That everybody wanted to talk to me because I knew probate. For some reason, everybody thinks that's an important niche for them to learn as well. So that works for me. Local real estate investment clubs has been a fantastic source. And then as a result of my expertise, I've been asked to speak at a number of them. What a great opportunity for lead generation to talk to 50 or 100 people at a time. Number 2, product-focused real estate investment clubs. So the first one is more local, right? There's real estate groups in the Valley, South Bay, Orange County, if you're in Arizona, New York, what I call geographic-based. Second group would be product-based. There's companies that are, groups that are national, but they're based on maybe commercial or multifamily or fix and flip or wholesale. And so these groups, again, they're working nationally. One of the advantages of EXP is we have contacts, we have team members nationally to help us. But again, while maybe not that many deals are probate, occasionally they come up with one, and I have networked at those groups and had people call me back saying, I know you're the probate expert. I've got this deal. It's a probate. It's in Florida, New York, Ohio. And I just reach out to a colleague there and network with them and help them in those areas. So product focused is another source of good networking. C would be real estate networks. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've not done this one much, but I have a good friend who does. NAREP, the Asian Real Estate Association, Women's Council, your local Association of Realtors or MLS. These are great opportunities either to speak at and give classes or to be in leadership so that you're in a position of leadership to network with people. Any place there's people who deal with real estate. One of my great coaches, Joel Epstein, says, how do you get hit by a car? You stand in traffic. And so you want to stand in traffic by some of these organizations, and that's a way to do that. Let me just check real quick. Do I have any chats? No. Okay, no questions. And feel free anytime, if you're on the workplace, feel free to put a comment or question. And if you're on the Zoom as well, feel free to jump in with any questions. Okay, so places to network, real estate network groups. D, online. And so I've searched Eventbrite, Meetup, and Facebook for groups. I join other groups. I created my own group in those places as well. But I would say a great place to network with people, find online groups that you participate online, find via online research, local groups you can go to as well to network. And Eventbrite, I think, is the best, and Meetup is the second best, and I would say Facebook as well. Kind of hit or miss, but I would definitely check it out. Okay, also places to network are there people who belong to groups like BNI, I think that's Business Networking International, LATIP, or other groups people go to, Rotary, Chamber of Commerce, and such. Again, rather than, and the tendency for realtors is to throw a huge net out there. I deal with all this kind of real estate. I think that's the biggest mistake. we talked about on the first segment of this class, that when you're an expert, people assume you can handle the basic. We mistakenly, if you're a member at Lions Club or Rotary or one of those groups, we mistakenly believe that if we tell people we're an expert in probate, we're going to miss out on a standard sale. It's the opposite. When you're an expert in something, people assume you can handle the basic. And think about it like this. If you had a brother or cousin or best friend who was a world-renowned brain surgeon, might you ask their opinion on, let's say, for example, COVID, wearing a mask or not, or getting vaccine or not? Wouldn't you ask your friend or your cousin who is a renowned brain surgeon their opinion on it? Maybe you don't do exactly what they tell you to do, but certainly you respect them as an expert on that lower level topic of wearing masks or vaccines if they're a brain surgeon, right? And the same with real estate. When you're a probate expert, people assume you can list and sell houses. And I've had that question, hey, Bill, I know my house isn't a probate, but can you sell it? Yeah, I can. And I just got to tell you, I don't even have a listing presentation. I used to feel embarrassed by it, but my listing presentations are usually not much more than that. Hey, I have a house. It's not probate. Can you sell it? Yeah, I'd be glad to. I sell 30 houses a year. I'm sure I can sell yours. That's about all it takes. So again, business networking is another opportunity, I think, to stretch out a little bit and to do business with people. But again, you want to mention you're an expert. There usually are other realtors. And that's another niche, which is some groups will only allow in one realtor. But if you're the probate expert, you also can serve as that realtor. Also, you can recruit them or attract them. So it becomes an opportunity to get in the door as well. Number two, you want to focus. And again, I know, Sal, I think you work more as senior marketing in particular, which is great. But whatever it is you're doing, you want to focus in on that and make sure everybody you talk to knows that focus and that specific niche that you're working on. Number three in networking is you always want to come from giving. This is the biggest mistake people make. When I was married, and I don't want to pretend I'm a great husband, I've successfully been married one day at a time, 36 years. But I got some great advice from the man who married us, the rabbi. He said that the key to marriage is not finding the right partner, it's being the right partner. I don't know, I fit that bill. But I will say in real estate that if you want people to do business with you, be the person they want rather than find people who need you. You want to focus on being that person. So in networking groups, you want to be the one that's giving. You want to be the one that is creating value for the organization. So, number four, have a value piece that drives lead generation. What would somebody who's interested in learning about probate want? They might want a list of probate properties coming for sale, whether they need court confirmation or not, or a certain area or a certain type of property. And so I offer people, hey, if you want a list of via email of properties coming for court confirmation, click here and they give me their email phone number. It goes into KV Core and then I send that out to them on a weekly basis. Or an individual property. Hey, I got a property coming up for court confirmation in 2 weeks. It's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath in Linwood. It's a this, it's a that. If you're interested, contact me. I'll send you the flyer on the property. Have value you create for other people, not just something for yourself. And so that's important to have that value piece, and you use that to drive lead generation. Another value piece is a class, training. We at XP have tons of things to offer people. The Grant Cardone events, Tony Robbins events. We have all kinds of opportunities to share with people great information, great value. And we want to bring and lead with value in education rather than ask for something from other people. Number 5 to me is an obvious one, support the network. If you're going to get business by networking, you want that network to grow and flourish. You have to be responsible for that group. So for me, for example, that group on Wednesdays in the Valley, I brought people there regularly. I talked about it during the week. Hey, come to our event on Wednesday. If you're involved in any organization, Lions, Kiwanis, Rotary, BNI, LATIP, you want to be building the organization, and when people see you doing that, they're going to pay attention to who you are and what you do. So it's really important, whatever network you're in, you want to support that network and help it grow, be more successful. Obviously, if the group grows by 50%, whatever business you get out of there is going to grow by 50%. That's not why to do it, but that is the result of helping build that organization, and very important. Number 6, create your own tribe with your own event. So one of the things that came from me was I was going to this meeting on Wednesdays. I was separately doing my own conference calls twice a week. And then when COVID hit and that meeting stopped, I needed to replace it. I just built my own video Zoom calls and replaced it with Zoom calls. And to this day, I host an event on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, realestateinvestingzoom.com, and I host Probate Weekly Thursdays 4 p.m. Pacific time as well. And I get 20 or 30 to 50 people every week. Then I live stream it to YouTube and get another 100 eyeballs on it every week. And I've created my own destination for people to supplement. And so when I go to a networking event that's maybe a broader topic and I meet people and they'll say, well, how can I learn more about you? I send them to those events. And here's another key to this. I don't really want to, I'm available to call people and I'm available to take calls, but ideally, I want people to meet me on one of my training calls. Because if you meet me in a networking group and I can get you to come to Probate Weekly or Real Estate Zoom, you see me as the instructor, you see 40 or 50 people that I'm working with, it creates an impression of me as a professional and it solidifies my standing as an expert. That's the basis of the relationship I really want. And so rather than selling people and calling them and meeting them initially, being a little patient and finding those that want to work with you and getting them to come to your events, I think is the better game strategy in the long run. So you want to create your own tribe to send people to. And oftentimes people say, well, can I give you a call? Yeah, of course you can, but why don't you just come to probateweekly.com on Thursday at 4 if you're interested in probate, and I can answer whatever questions you have. And so I'd rather them meet me there in that group setting than just individually if I had my choice. And then the money's in the follow-up. So when you meet people, I do put them into my email database. I segment them based on how I met them. I do invite them to my weekly calls if they hit the category that makes sense for them. And it's important to stay in touch. And I have had people who I met who 6 months, a year later, call me up or come to a meeting with a lead, property they have to sell, property they want to buy. And I say, well, how do we meet? Oh, a year ago, I came to your meetup. A year ago, I met you here. The key to this business, and this is true in all of our marketing, is the follow-up, what I call the long tail of marketing. I used to use a software program called Boomtown, kind of a competitor of KV Core. The power there was they did a lot more marketing of the leads. KV Core does that, but Boomtown was all about the advertisements and generating leads as well and getting Zillow leads and such. And so they could track when a lead was new to closed in their system. And Boomtown also, I think they kind of pushed you more to status closed deals and use it for tracking your deals than we do in KV Core. Not as good as KV Core, but it was different. But my point was they did the research to determine that their average lead in their system from opening to closing was over 2 years. And I learned the hard way as a real estate agent that we have to have a system in place to stay in touch with people over that 2-year, 3-year period to get opportunity to do business with more people. So by having my own event or having my own email address, when I meet people networking, I forever are emailing them information about real estate. I'm forever inviting them to my events. And so I do get people call me back 6 months, a year later, and those leads, instead of being lost, are leads I can convert and make money on. So the money is really in the lead follow-up. And what I'd say is we lead generate for show, but we lead follow-up for dough. That's where the money is. Number 8, the goal is the relationship, not the deal. And this is a hard one. But when you're at networking events, your goal is to meet people and talk to people, make relationships, help people. If you focus on that, you'll have more business than you ever know what to do with. My first coach was Zig Ziglar, and he said, you can have anything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. So the focus has to be on how can I help you. Doesn't mean I spend all day long chasing your deal, but it does mean I'm genuinely interested in helping you and looking for opportunities where I can be of service. And in networking groups, that's really important as a way to build your reputation. So to wrap up, I'll just kind of review real quick the points we went over. Where do you network? Your local real estate investment clubs, product-focused clubs are maybe national in nature. There's conventions. I know there's a fiduciary convention every year in Las Vegas. I have about 5 or 6 friends that go to that. Real estate networks, NAREP, ARIA, Women's Council, your local AOR, MLS, and then online events. Eventbrite is, I think, the most effective. Meetup and Facebook as well. And then your basic business groups, BNI, LATIP, and then service organizations. Focus in on what you do best and what you want to be known for, one specific niche. Come from giving. Have a value piece to offer people. It could be a meeting that you host. It could be some information that you offer regularly. Support the network you're part of, so if it grows, your business will grow as well. Create your own tribe with your own event, very important, event marketing, and the money's in the follow-up. And then lastly, the goal is the relationship, not the transaction. So I did a lot of talking to you myself. Normally I try to make it a little more interactive, but I want to kind of get through the content. But any questions that I can help answer today regarding let's say first what I covered, anything about networking probate business that you guys have questions on? No? Hey, Winona, welcome to our call. Okay, and
Hey,
then,
thank you. It's nice to be here. I appreciate it.
sure, where are you from?
Oh,
Where do you sell real estate, Winona? That it? Okay. Okay, well, hi, Winona, nice to have you on the call. Any other questions oh, there you are.
sorry about that. I'm
No
from
problem.
Arkansas, Bentonville, Arkansas.
Very nice. Home of Walmart, right?
Yes, home of Walmart. JB Hunt, Pepsi
Okay.
Cola, Coca-Cola.
Very nice. Oh,
Nice
wow.
to
Okay,
meet
good.
y'all.
Well, Winona, thanks for, likewise. Any questions on probate I can help you guys with today? No? Not hearing any? Okay, I'm going to turn off the recording.